Hello, welcome back to my channel. Happy 2020. So good to see you. My name is Jessica Hover. If you're new here, I make videos mostly about mom stuff these days because that's what I'm doing. Formerly, I made videos about other stuff. One day I may do that again, but for now, we're here talking about life as a mom, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Actually, well, this video is a lower quality than what we're normally working with. I'm filming it on my phone, filming selfie mode. It's just a Q&A video, informal, answering questions that you guys sent me from Instagram yesterday. So I hope that it helps you, those of you who asked questions, and I hope you're having a good year. So cool. Okay, anyway, I'll be back in LA on Monday, and then I'll be filming with Becca, and we'll have nicer quality videos with good sound and good lighting and cool editing. But today we have this. Thanks for hanging out with me. First question, how do you make money to travel? Any tips for traveling with kids? Actually, yes, I do have tips for traveling with kids, and I've made some videos about them. So if you look on my channel, you'll see several videos about traveling with children. With Eloise, I traveled with her often. When she was young, we flew all the time. I think she's been on like 200 flights or something. And so I've made a few videos about that. Wilson has only traveled this chunk of travels. So we flew from LA to New York. We spent time with family in Connecticut, flew to Michigan, spent time with family there. Now we're in Colorado, and then we'll go back to California. But I did make a video about how to travel with them. So I made that, I think, 3 weeks ago. You can look at it. And how do we make money to travel? Well, we try to travel for cheap. That's one thing. I usually like to book on Southwest because they let you bring 2 checked bags per person for no extra charge, which is so fun. And if you're a family, they let you board first. Also, if you ever have to cancel your flight, you can cancel it, and then they'll just put the money towards your next Southwest travel, which other airlines don't do that. And they serve you pretzels and drinks, and I think that's so nice. So it's pretty nice for traveling with a kid. Why am I telling you that? Oh, I don't know. They're not sponsoring this video. I just think you should know. Southwest, it's a great airline, and I think you should fly with them. Sean flies on a different airline for free because our friend works for the airline and has given him status to be able to fly standby. So that's how we do it. I make money. How do I make money? I make money here on YouTube if you watch my videos, and if a company wants to sponsor a video, thank you. Then yeah, we make some money off that. My husband drives for Uber. We work for a nonprofit and people support the work that we do. So we formerly were full-time missionaries and lived off of donations from friends and families and churches who saw the work that we did and believed in it and contributed. Now we kind of live off of a mismatch of money. Not very much, but you know, it's doing the job and we're really grateful. Do you pump and bottle feed? If so, how often? Yeah, I do pump. When I'm home, I pump. I try and pump once a day. I'm kind of lazy about it, but I have set up next to one particular chair in the house, the electric pump plugged in, and then, so I make it easy for myself. So I just go plug myself in, pump like a little cow that I am, and then put the milk in the freezer. Traveling, I haven't pumped that much. I have a Haka with me. It's like a little kind of rubbery thing that you can put on to catch your letdown while the baby's nursing on one side. I really like it. I hadn't used it with Eloise. I think it's very cool. And Wilson does not take a bottle regularly right now. We were doing it where he was taking 1 bottle a day, and I probably should transition back into that because I kind of like it. But for now, no. Also, someone asked, oh, it's right here. Does your baby, I wrote down my questions. Does your baby ever refuse the boob? Yes. If you notice, you might even be able to see. Oh yeah, girl, look at this. Okay, this is a grapefruit. This is a clementine because my little baby prefers grapefruits. No, my guy, he likes this one more than this one, and it's so frustrating. But I often will try and flip him around like a football and hold him over here so that he'll nurse on this side, but he just doesn't nurse as long on that side. So then I sometimes pump on this side. Yeah, it's just, I'm lopsided most of the time. Someone asked, how do you keep up your milk supply if your baby's not nursing at night? Well, right now, while we've been traveling, the baby has been nursing all night long. So I have plenty of milk. But at home, when he was sleep trained and not nursing at night, I was actually just producing a lot of milk during the day, and it didn't feel like it affected me too much. In the morning, though, I had way more milk than I had been having because he wasn't nursing at night, and I did nurse and then pump. So maybe that's how I kept up my milk supply. Pumped the extra. Sorry, I sound so like unsure. feel like that's a theme here on my videos. My stuff I tell you always ends in a question mark. Like, this is what I do. Huh? Is that okay? That's what I do. It's working. Do you want more kids? Oh my gosh, so tricky. Yes and no. I would say right now I feel really complete with the kids I have. Also, like financially and travel wise, and just kind of the life that we have. 2 is very fitting. But if in a few years life allowed for another kid and we had the resources for that, I would be excited. I love my kids and I love the idea that there could be another amazing kid coming from me. I think that's so cool. I get really easily overwhelmed in motherhood. Maybe you guys don't. So I feel like if I had one more, maybe I'd be sort of stressed, or like, what if I had twins? They would be so cute, but would I survive? Yes, I would. Definitely. Do you hear the conflict in my head? That is actually what goes on when we think about having more than one kid. So the answer is maybe we'll have another kid in a few years. If we don't, then great. And if we do, great. I think I would prefer not to think about Wilson being my last kid, because that's kind of sad, because then everything I'm doing for the last time, and I am way too emotional of a person to grab hold of that kind of sadness. So I just think of it as maybe we will, maybe we won't, and either way it'll be great. Tip for a first-time mom. Oh my gosh, you're gonna do so great. I would say sometimes you're gonna feel overwhelmed and it's gonna feel so challenging, and like that feeling is gonna last forever. But what you will find out soon is that everything you go through is a phase and it will pass. So you just get through the phase you're in and then you'll get to the next one. And sometimes that's great because the phase you're in is hard and then you get to the next one and it's easier. Sometimes that's annoying because you're in a phase and you're like, yes, I've got it. I know his exact schedule. I know exactly how to do everything I'm doing. And then a week later, he'll figure out how to roll over or something and then you'll have to do it all again. So it's a little tricky, but it gets easier as you go. And don't isolate as much as you can. Try and find people to talk to, FaceTime friends, do something so that you can stay okay inside your mind. You're a great mom, and it's just, you're gonna be able to do this, and your kid's so lucky that you're their mom, really. How is my brother-in-law? Oh my gosh, you are so nice. My brother-in-law, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, so this is my sister Meredith's husband, David, who's one of our closest friends and my brother-in-law. He fell off a roof. We're doing construction. He fell off a 3-story roof and broke bones like from head to toe. He definitely could have died. It was totally crazy. And he's doing fine. He's healthy, totally healed. His body works. He works on houses still, and he's doing great. Sometime I'll show you the picture of the roof that he fell down because it is so crazy. Okay, a few more questions because I don't want this video to be massively long. What do you do if your baby screams in a public place? Ugh, I know, that's hard. You don't really worry about it. People will survive. Babies will scream where they're gonna scream. You just do your best to hush that little baby. Don't say a word. Leave if you have to leave. If you can't leave, you can't leave. And some people in that public place will give you eyes of compassion, and some people will give you devil eyes where they're like, oh my gosh, babies, this is the worst. This is why I never want to have kids. Just let those people be. They would be like that even if your baby wasn't crying. Yeah, I'm sorry that happens. Toddlers do it. My 4-year-old, she did it on the airplane. She screamed her head off for a moment. I actually impulsively was like, no, and I snapped her mouth shut. I've never done that on a plane with her. She's never done it. She screamed, no, I want something. And I snapped her mouth shut, and I think it like startled her because I never do that. And I was like, no, you do not get to talk to me like that on the plane. We need to calm down. And she actually did. She's a pretty gentle, like mild-mannered kid. I know that not everyone's like that. Anyway, that was an impulse. Don't know if I responded the right way or the wrong way, but it worked, so praise the heavens. Will you teach Wilson Spanish? I want to, yeah. And I would dream of going and spending months or a year or years in a Spanish-speaking place because I love the Spanish language. I love Spanish people. I love the culture and the Catalan culture in Barcelona and everything. It would just be wonderful. I want Wilson to speak Spanish, yes. What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? It's a good question. I journal, I shower, I go for a walk, I cry, I call someone, I tell somebody. I try and take a nap and start my day over. I feel overwhelmed pretty often. I think it's a normal part of the human experience, and finding ways to cope is really helpful. Writing things down for me is very helpful. Having alone time is good. Do I feel pressure to take care of my kids and not work? That's a great question. Do I feel pressure? I feel pressure. I don't know if I feel pressure about that though. I think it's just hard to know how to do everything right with a mom, with being a mom. I want to be present with my kids. I also want to have a life outside of being a mom because it helps me feel sane and purposeful, because a lot of motherhood is mundane jobs that don't immediately show you like you're doing a great job, this is impactful, this matters. And so it's helpful to have some sort of work where there's, I don't know, there's like a finish line, or there's something like I'm making videos and then the video goes up. Success. So do I feel pressure to take care of the kids? Probably. Do I feel pressure to work? Probably. There's a weird thing that happens in a mom's mind of like guilt. No matter what choice you feel, there's a temptation to feel guilty about it. If you're excited to go back to work, you feel like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me? I must not love my kids enough. If you don't want to go back to work, then maybe you feel guilty about that. You might also be the type of woman who's watching this and be like, yeah, right, Jessica, I don't feel any of that. And that's wonderful. I like your mind. And I know that some people don't feel this stuff I'm describing, but I do. And plenty of my friends do. So it's good to be able to talk about. I'm going to finish up because this is an 11-minute video. How did Spain change your life? So many ways. Adriana, you're the one who asked this. Just living in Spain changed my life in a lot of ways. I can make a whole video about that. One of the ways, though, that I will say that has forever shaped me is that I learned that it is possible to be lonely and be with people. I know that you've probably heard that before, but unless you're intentionally sharing like the deep stuff that's going on in your life with somebody, you can get severely isolated while still being around other human beings. I experienced that. I was a mom of a young child. I was mostly with my young child. I didn't speak Spanish yet. I didn't have a big group of close friends, and the friends that I was with, I wasn't being vulnerable with to share exactly how I was actually doing. And I have learned that from now going forward, I want to be intentional about letting people in. It's not enough to have a social media presence, because what people see of me on social media isn't the full picture. It's a very curated picture. And as much as I try and be vulnerable, it's still not the same as like hanging out with each other and being able to share deeply what's going on. And so one thing Spain taught me is that I need people, deeply, deeply need people. And we all do, I think. And I love Spain, and I would love to move back at some point. And let's see, last one. What's your favorite coffee order? Thanks for asking. I would love, if I'm placing my order right now, I'll take an iced latte or a cold brew. I love cold brew. If I have an iced latte, I have it with whole milk. I do drink milk and eat meat and cheese and bread. I eat a lot of things. Okay. I hope that you're doing well. Thanks so much for watching my videos, even the stuff that feels rambly and boring to me. You guys, some of you value, and you write me really kind messages about it, and I'm so thankful. So I hope you're doing well. You're doing a really good job raising your child. I know that it's not easy. If you're pregnant, really good job growing your child. And I think of you all the time. I'm cheering you guys on. Follow me on Instagram. See you next week. You look beautiful. Okay, bye.